You are listening to Christian Audio's production of When a Jew Rules the World, What the Bible Really Says About Israel and the Plan of God, by Joel Richardson. This book is read by Geoffrey. This audio recording was produced in 2015 by Christian Audio, which owns the copyright. No portion of this recording may be reproduced for any reason without prior written consent from Christian Audio. This edition issued by contractual arrangement with W&D Books. Originally published in English as When a Jew Rules the World. Copyright 2015 by Joel Richardson. All rights reserved. Please visit christianaudio.com, facebook.com/christianaudio, or twitter.com/christianaudio to offer your impressions of this work and to explore additional titles. Part 1. What the Bible Really Says About Israel and the Plan of God. Chapter 1. The Warning. Ignorance and Arrogance. Just 3 years before his death in 1546, Martin Luther, the great Protestant reformer, wrote an anti-Jewish treatise titled On the Jews and Their Lies. For more than 1,000 years, Christians throughout Europe had debated among themselves about how they should treat the Jews living in their midst. By Luther's day, some argued that the problem of the Jews called for a definitive solution. Luther's treatise offered his solution in no unclear terms. I'll allow his own words to speak for themselves. What then shall we Christians do with this damned, rejected race of Jews? First, their synagogues should be set on fire, and whatever does not burn should be covered or spread over with dirt, so that no one may ever be able to see a cinder or stone of it. And this ought to be done for the honor of God and of Christianity, in order that God may see that we are Christians. Secondly, their homes should likewise be broken down and destroyed, for they perpetrate the same things there that they do in their synagogues. For this reason, they ought to be put under one roof or in a stable, like gypsies, in order that they may realize that they are not masters in our land as they boast, but miserable captives. Thirdly, they should be deprived of their prayer books and Talmuds, in which such idolatry, lies, cursing, and blasphemy are taught. Fourthly, their rabbis must be forbidden under threat of death to teach any more. To sum up, dear princes and nobles who have Jews in your domains, if this advice of mine does not suit you, then find a better one, so that you and we may all be free of this insufferable, devilish burden, the Jews. Next to the devil, a Christian has no more bitter and galling foe than the Jew. Most Christians who read Luther's words for the first time are shocked. Tragically, Luther was far from alone among notable Christian leaders in his hatred and abuse of the Jews. As we will see, his attitude was actually quite common among Christians throughout an overwhelming majority of church history. Even more tragically, roughly 500 years after Luther wrote his hateful treatise, Adolf Hitler would rely heavily on Luther's proposals as the basis of his own final solution, resulting in the death of 2/3 of the roughly 9 million Jews who were living in Europe at the time. How did it all come to this? How did Christianity, whose adherents claimed to follow a Jewish Messiah, become a Gentile-dominated religion that persecuted the Jews no matter where they were found? How did those Christians who claimed to worship the God of Israel come to hate the children of Israel so deeply, so passionately, and so relentlessly? To answer that question, we must begin with the words of the Apostle Paul in chapter 11 of his letter to the Romans. It is there that Paul issued a most solemn warning, one specifically intended for Gentile Christians. First, Paul warned them against being arrogant toward the Jews, reminding his readers of the ongoing calling and election of Israel, including unbelieving Israel, as the people of God. Second, he also warned Gentile believers not to become conceited about their own standing before God. Instead, they were exhorted to fear. Let us read Paul's warning. Do not be arrogant toward the natural branches. But if you are arrogant, remember that it is not you who supports the root, but the root supports you. You will say then, branches were broken off so that I might be grafted in. Quite right. They were broken off for their
Sample complete. Ready to continue?